So your local gym and Dead by Daylight have a lot in common. They're both filled with sweaty people, but unlike at your local gym, in Dead by Daylight, nobody wants to do chests. Chests have been in the game for many years now, virtually unchanged, and they are pretty useless and not worth considering for the most part. It takes you about 12 seconds to open and pick up the item from a chest, a little bit less if you know how to skip the animation, and you get a random item. This random item could be a green key, which is basically useless, a green map, which does very, very little, or a toolbox, which saves you time on a generator, but it also takes more time to get than it saves you on the generator, so yeah. It's really not a very consistent mechanic. Why would you risk getting a bad item and waste time in-game when time is so precious, while you can perfectly bring a item from your loadout? There is nothing preventing you from bringing the best possible item every game if you wish to do that. So chests have always been really subpar. Now, does behavior identify this as a problem? Do they aim to change chests or add more risk to more reward to the risk that it takes to open a chest? No, instead they keep making new perks and new perks and new perks related to chests, which makes the situation arguably even worse. We're gonna go very quickly over the 12 or so perks that affect chests and just explain just how bad they are. Now, I'm not gonna talk about the perks that show you where the chests are or that affect the speed at which you open chests very minorly. That's okay, those are very minor effects. Let's talk about the perks that actually give you good effects or strong effects when interacting with chests. The best one possibly is Pharmacy from Quentin Smith. This perk removes the RNG from searching a chest by guaranteed giving you a medkit when you're injured. This is huge. It also makes you open it faster. It's so nice. This is actually a really decent trade-off and one of the best chest perks. Not as good as it used to be because green medkits now are not as strong, but still. We then have Lara's perk, Hardened. You need to do a chest and a totem, which is a bit of side questing, but in exchange for this side quest, you get a really nice effect. You're immune to screams and you see the aura of the killer at selected moments, like when you get hit or any other time you would scream. Not too bad. I like this kind of side quest thing. It is a little bit much, but you know, you can make a build around this. I personally quite like it. Plunderer shows you the aura of chest, but critically, it also increases your chances to get a higher rarity. It is a bit of a gambling perk, but increasing your rarity is typically a good thing no matter what item you get, so hey, that's pretty nice. We then have Residual Manifest, the perk that makes killers blind. They don't see auras. And this one is not too bad. This perk allows you to rummage through a chest. And if you rummage through a chest, means you search it twice, and you'll get a guaranteed yellow flashlight. Now, I know most people that run flashlights are not necessarily trying to use flashlights to win the game. They just want to have fun. They just want to, get a flashy save or whatever. So if you don't mind wasting time and you want to go for a flashlight, this perk is decent, and I think it works okay. And so is the new perk from Trevor Belmont called Moment of Glory. You need to open 2 chests, which is, I mean, quite a bit of an investment, but then it allows you to heal yourself over time when you're injured, which is a fairly strong effect. So it's a nice investment. You do need to find 2 chests, which takes about 24 seconds to open them, and then obviously more time to find them. And what if your teammates have opened the chest? And what if you don't find the chest? What if you get interrupted? Why don't you just bring adrenaline or a syringe, which does the same thing but without any requirements? Like, okay, it's starting not to be super worth it, but still, healing and being able to heal mid-chase potentially is not a bad deal. But this is where things start to get really, really bad. So the perk Dominance, I think, is awful. Not necessarily in terms of like the effect of the perk. The effect of the perk is pretty good, especially on the totem side. But it's awful in terms of design. So this perk makes it so that anytime a survivor touches a totem or a chest, they get blocked for a few seconds. Like the totem part, okay, I kind of get it to protect hexes, but why the hell would you take chests, which are already such a time waste, and punish survivors for doing chests? Everyone that plays killer complains that generators go too fast, that survivors don't have enough side objectives, and we are making perks to actively punish survivors for doing side objectives. And it only gets worse from here. Hoarder is a killer perk that spawns more chests for some reason, and also punishes survivors when they touch chests and pick up items. The pick up item part I understand more, but I do not understand why you would punish a survivor by revealing their location, and they have no way of knowing that you have this perk, by the way. typically. But why would you punish them for doing a side objective? I think it's really backwards. And then we have Human Greed, another perk coming from Dracula in a few days, that also punishes survivors for being around chests and reveals their aura, which I think is just like, why? Like, why? Imagine that you're a survivor, right? And you're like, oh, I don't want to gen rush. I don't want to do it. I want to be a good survivor. I just want to do side objectives. Give the killer a good chance, right? And then you use a coin to spawn more chests. And then now, thanks to this perk, you're screwing your team over. Because now all those chests around the map are actually benefiting the killer by I don't get it, man. I genuinely don't get it. It's just such a strange design. Appraisal is a really strange survivor perk. It lets you do a rummaging action, which basically lets you open a chest twice. So it's like you have two chests on the same spot and you don't have to go find another. But it has the same problems as searching the normal chest. It still takes a long time, a bit less, but still a long time. And you're not guaranteed to get anything good. So unless you pair this with, say, Up the Ante, which I didn't include in this list, but it's also pretty good because it lets you get two add-ons. There's no point to ever running this perk. Yeah, Up the Ante should have been included. If it was included, it would be in the good list. Up the Ante, having to random add-ons on an item that you find and being able to keep the add-ons for the next match, that is pretty good. Although nowadays you have Dramaturgy, which allows you to spawn items without doing chests, so yeah, really not too good. Then we have Scavenger. Scavenger is a toolbox perk, right, that has some toolbox effects, but it also has a side effect of allowing you to find a toolbox when you rummage a chest. And this whole rummaging thing, I really dislike it. Having to search a chest twice, spend more than 20 seconds to get a toolbox that's going to save you like less than 10 seconds on a gen, it's just so bad. And then Lara's perk, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of this perk. I think it's Skull Specialist. Yeah, it's Skull Specialist, I believe. This perk gives you a token every time you open a chest. And then when you do a generator and you hit a great skill check, the generator loses part. Like, it loses a little part of its total progress. So like a brand new part of sorts. This effect is quite good. Making the total generator charges less means that perks like Painter's hit for less damage and so on. But the overall trait is so bad. For you to genuinely get any value out of this perk, you need to do like many chests. And at that point, the killer has already destroyed your team. You would be much better off just sitting on gens or bringing Deja Vu or Prove Thyself or any other, or Resilience, any other gen speed perk. And oh, odds, but what if the killer is 3-genning? What if the killer is 3-genning? And then it's good to make the gens shorter. If the killer is 3-genning, you're still better off with gen speed perks like the ones I mentioned, or even Circle of Healing or some other healing perk so that you can, you know, alternate and rotate the gens more and more efficiently, heal if they get hit, until the killer has kicked the gen 8 times and then the gen gets blocked and cannot be kicked anymore. So in a battle of attrition, this perk still sucks massively. One of the worst design perks in the game, because you need to waste a lot of time on chests that then gets returned back to you, but it's such a bad return. So with all of this in mind, how would I personally change chests? I think chests should have better items than when you can bring from home. It makes no sense to me that you can spend so much time on a chest and get something that is so bad. Maybe styptics, maybe syringes should only appear in chests. That could be an idea. Another idea that is a little bit more ambitious that I think I've suggested some years ago is that survivors that bring items do not have the items visible on the lobby. That means that when you go into a lobby, you don't see 4 medkits, you don't see 4 flashlights and then switch to light board, you know, blah, blah, blah. Instead, survivors select an item, and that is an item that they find within the trial when they open a chest. So, for example, if you're playing Dwight and you bring a medkit with this and this and that, you need to find a chest and open it. Maybe you would need to change chests so that survivors can all find their items. And maybe if items have purple rarity, they could take longer to find. And if they are only just a brown medkit, maybe it's easier to find. So chests would have to be reworked to give survivors the items that they picked ahead of time. That would be an interesting one. And what you could do is, if you have a perk like, for example, Residual Manifest, which is meant to help you find flashlights faster. Well, if you have this perk on top of the main effect, the secondary effect of this perk now becomes that if you bring a flashlight, it's 50% faster to get out of a chest. Something like that would be nice. It would encourage people to learn the maps, to go around, and it would encourage people, you want to do gens? Okay, you do gens without items. You want to do a lot of healing? Well, you have to bring other healing perks. If you want to have a medkit or a toolbox or a flashlight, you'll need to spend a little bit of time doing that. That could be an interesting way. If they don't want to do that, that's completely fine. But I still think that they should give some kind of guaranteed that makes chests more worth going for, instead of making perks that punish people for opening chests. I still do not understand what they were thinking with that.